This is the 2023 VW ID.4 Pro S, and it's one of the more affordable EVs on the market with decent range, performance, and because Volkswagen has moved production of the US spec ID.4 to its plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee for the 23 model year, it now qualifies for the federal tax credit of up to $7,500. So today I'm going to review it and we'll see what it's like. So for 2023, a few things have changed. There's a new Pro S Plus trim, which includes heated rear seats, 20-inch wheels, a premium sound system, and 3-zone automatic climate control. There's also a new base model, which is called the Standard. It comes in at a little under $40,000. It is front-wheel drive only, has a 62 kilowatt battery pack, which is smaller than this one, and has a range of around 209 miles. So what else has changed? Well, all models now come with a 12-inch digital infotainment display, which was optional last time. There's also some new paint colors and some new wheel designs. So this particular tester is a all-wheel drive Pro S model, and it has some pretty nifty features. Pro S models get these 255/45s riding on these quite nice 19-inch rims, wearing Pirelli Scorpion Zero tires, which is nice because they're not Bridgestone. You also get these premium LED lights at the front, which include the adaptive lighting system, which means that they swivel in the direction that the car is turning, a feature that was first introduced on the Citroën DS many years ago. And amazingly, you get these vents right here, which are actually real, help cool the front wheels. The rest of the front is pretty standard. It's obviously very blocky. There's no radiator grille, but I do like this sort of like design on the bottom here that does let air into somewhere to cool. So at the back, you get the easy open style tailgate, and it reveals about 30 cubic feet of space. Put the seats down, you get about 64. You also get a couple of cubbies on either side. You can also lift this up, slide the whole thing out, and that will reveal additional storage space underneath. And then under here is your 110 volt charging cable. Pretty well put together. So if you're hoping for a frunk, you're going to be disappointed, but under here you get 2 motors on the all-wheel drive version, good for 295 horsepower, 339 foot-pounds of torque, driven through a single-speed transmission. The front-wheel drive version has a single motor, good for 201 horsepower and around 229 foot-pounds of torque. The all-wheel drive and the front-wheel drive model that are not the standard range one, the new base model, get an 82 kilowatt battery, which is good for about 255 miles of range in this one, all-wheel drive, and 275 in the other one. 0 to 60 takes around 5.8 seconds for the dual motor and around 7.7 seconds for the front wheel drive. The ID.4's peak charging rate is 118 kilowatts, so it's going to take you around 30 minutes to go from 10 to 80%. If you put it on a regular 220 volt charger, then it's going to fully charge in around 7.5 hours. So how much is all this? Well, $51,295 is the base for the Pro S all-wheel drive. And you get one option on this car. It's the paint, which is $395, taking the out-the-door total, including destination, to $52,985. Don't forget, there is that $7,500 tax credit on offer. So the back's not bad. Plenty of leg room, kind of decent headroom. You get a poke through here if you want to poke longer things through the back. A couple of decent cup holders. Nice little vanity lights here as well, a little pocket here for your iPhone and another one for your iPad. Also gets this panoramic sunroof, vents, and also USB power. Very nice inside. I like what they've done with a lot of the materials. These seats in particular, these are the best that Volkswagen make. Why can't they put these seats in other cars, like the Jetta and places like that? I don't understand. They're so comfortable and much softer than your standard German seats. These are memory seats. Both passenger and the driver get 8-way power, obviously in this Pro S trim, and they're genuinely very comfortable, and the materials quality is really good. This is a really nice wheel, and most of it is well put together. Inside, the standard touchscreen display is bright, it's easy to reach from the driver's seat. Most of the main menu categories you click here. You've got telephone, radio, media, navigation, vehicle charging. You can change the color of the display. I changed it to blue because it was bright red under ambient light, a little bit too much for me. Go back and take a look at vehicle, and then you get all sorts of cool information. Your how many kilowatts you're using. I had a bit of a heavy right foot. Your long term, and then since you were last charged, average speed, etc. Ton of information in here. You can look at your tire pressures, when the next service is due, how many miles the car has done, and then the temperature outside, which is pretty damn hot today. It's 99. So the new center console setup now offers a lot more storage space and a phone charging pad. And then previous year's cloth seats on lower models have now been upgraded. I particularly like the charger because it fits a lot of different sized phones. And then under here, under the center armrest, you get a ton of storage space. So the main driver's display is pretty slick. It moves with the steering wheel, so it's always in sight. A couple of things here. You've got your speedo, plumb center, some route guidance if you wanted to. On the right hand side, you'll see we're in D for drive. It's the only way you can show this display, but it's on auto hold, so it's not going anywhere. B is the max regen, and it's operated by this weird twisty thing here that turn one way to go into drive or max regen, neutral, and then back into reverse park. Push the end of there. Battery state, we've only got 84% of the battery left with approximately 202 miles on the gasometer. Of course, you do get VWs. What we don't like is the capacitive touch buttons on the steering wheel, which on this wheel, you tend not to push the buttons because there's a little bit more room here for the palm of your hand. And then down here on the left, you get automatic lights, rear defrost, etc., front fogs, you name it, and different modes for the lights. All right, so let's take it for a drive. Now, I drove here up some pretty steep hills to get where I am right now. And I used, well, I've got 202 miles of range and I had 250 when I left. So 48 miles of range has gone, but I think I've only traveled around 25 miles. So this is the problem with EVs going uphill. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back downhill so we can drive faster and also help to recharge the battery with the regen. So let's get going. So I'm going to stick it in B. I like that mode. And if we're going downhill, we'll regen more and we'll need to use the brakes a lot less. So let's see how this car goes. All right, so very smooth, obviously. Just going to move my bottle there because it's flying around. So yeah, as with any electric vehicle, it's super smooth. Good thing is there's very little wind noise. These are pretty big mirrors. I feel like mirrors have gotten bigger over time. And these are pretty big, so, but they're not making a lot of noise. I'm just whooshing through the air, and it feels nice. Even on these 20-inch rims that it's got, it's very supple, the suspension. It's all been engineered for comfort, but I feel like it's not bad in the turns either. So we got a little bit of a sharp right-hand turn here, and we don't need to put the brakes on because we've got regen going on, and it rolls. That's what I would expect, but you can get a decent move on in this car. Really, really good front seats though. I'm really happy with the seats. It's super comfortable. And so far, I'm liking these Pirellis. I can't figure out why VW puts Bridgestones on their sportier cars. The Golf R, the GTI, and then they put Pirellis on this. It's really annoying. So actually using the brake pedal, it's got that typical weird feel that you get with EVs. It feels like it isn't going to stop, and there's no bite, there's no initial bite to it. You got to push down a little bit to actually get anything going. So as I went up that hill there, the track control light went on, Seems weird because it's an all-wheel drive car, but we are hustling around these turns and it's quite impressive. Good composure, good body composure. Doesn't seem to be too upset by sort of mid-corner bumps, and it's soaking up these utterly crap San Diego roads. All right, so now we're going downhill. We should have the little regen bar in green now as we go down this hill. Let's see if we can recoup a little bit of energy. It handles kind of nicely, actually. Pretty decent. Everybody complains that EVs are too expensive, and I have to agree, they are. A lot of them are made purely for the one percenters. You know, they're way too expensive for the average Joe. But now the VW has come out with the standard model. It starts at $38,000, and then you get a $7,500 tax credit. Now you're looking at a little over $30,000 for a pretty decent car. Yeah, you take a bit of a hit in range, but if you only tootle around town and you have a charger at home, I don't think you've got anything to worry about. So now we've recouped a few miles, got 193 miles of range on it, still at 81%. Got some tight twisties here. Let's give it a good test here. See how it goes. That's a pretty big dip. Kind of impressed so far with how it handles. The steering is somewhat vague. There's not a lot of feel in the steering. It feels, I don't want to say disconnected from the wheels, because I know that it is connected to the wheels, but there's really no sense that when you turn the steering wheel, you're actually making the wheels turn as well. But it does the job that it's supposed to. This is quite a long stretch of downhill, so I'm going to be happy to recoup as much energy as I can, which is kind of the bonus of an electric vehicle. With a gas car, you use gas regardless. You can control the consumption. For example, if you're going downhill, get desperate and even put it in neutral, but you're still using gas. Whereas this, we're coasting down here and we're actually recouping energy, but not enough. You know, 250 miles is just okay range. 275 is getting better, certainly to compete with the competition. Now, I'm just one fairly light person in this car. I'm sure that if you've got this thing, you know, 4 adults and the trunk full of stuff, that is definitely going to impact your range. And then this one has a tow package. I'm not quite sure what you're going to tow in an ID.4, but apparently you can. Probably because it's a smaller one, so you could probably put some bikes on the back or one of those luggage racks or whatever, but I don't really think that it could actually tow something without catastrophic range drops.
1 moment, please.
Okay, the system is asking me, I didn't ask it a question, but it seems to be talking to me now.
Please wait. Okay.
All right. All right, this is our turnaround point. So we're going to activate sport mode. I'll press this button here. We got comfort sport. Let's go for custom. Ooh, it's exciting. What can we do with custom? Driving dynamics, drivetrain, ACC. This is all in comfort. All right, well, let's just go for sport, and that adds everything into sport. So now we should be in sport mode. Sport mode active. Let's go and have a little fun here. Acceleration is pretty brisk. Now, if you compare this directly with, say, a Model Y, then no, you're not gonna have as much fun in terms of pure acceleration. What I am impressed with, though, about this car is how much better the battery is than it says on the sticker. I think this will do a lot more mileage than the 255 that it states. Now, if you drive like a lunatic all the time, then that's not going to happen. Anyway, stick your foot down. Of course, when you drive aggressively, you're stopping and slowing, you're regenning, so it works really good. Anyway, steering's pretty good in sport mode, pretty direct. A quick movement of the wheel and the car moves. There's no real play in it. It's actually much better than being in sort of comfort or normal mode. My expectations have definitely been exceeded with this car. I did drive it a couple of years ago when it first came out. I'm even more impressed with it now though. All right, let's give it a bit of speed here. It's a long left-hander. I like the way it holds the road too. Pretty decent Pirelli tires on this thing. And it feels a little more sporty than it did before. So sports mode actually works. Obviously this is going to eat into the battery quite a bit, but you can definitely get a hustle on with this car. Body composure is good. There's some roll. Obviously it's really tuned for comfort, but the only thing that is a little bit odd is getting used to the brakes, which you need a little bit of a dab of brakes now and then. Pretty tight right-hander, and yes, it does roll, but handles beautifully. No complaints from the tires yet. Mash that pedal down. Gains speed really well. So I did find out that this is governed at 112 miles an hour, so that's nice, because I hate the ones that are governed at 99. Sometimes you need that little bit of extra speed to get yourself out of trouble. Here's the thing, in the dual motor version of this car, you can definitely have some fun. So what do we think? Well, VW's done a really good job at making this into a very good SUV, but it's also a decent EV as well. It's packaged well, it's got room, it's comfortable. There are various different powertrains and battery options that you can take. There's a $7,500 tax credit. It's very affordable. I think it's a great car. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another video. Out.